Why can your friend eat junk food and not gain weight, but you eat a jelly bean and gain a pound?
It's not your fault.
Your gut may be to blame.
Dr. Axe says everyone has one of 5 gut types.
See which one you are and the 3 simple ways to fix it so you can lose weight. Plus, Russell Simmons is in the house.
He's here to reveal his #1 secret to living 10 years longer.
Oh my goodness. Wow!
Coming up next on Oz.
We'll save lives today.
You guys ready to get healthy?
Here's a question for everyone in the audience, both here in the studio and at home. Who gets frustrated when your best friend can eat junk food and not gain weight, but you have 1 jelly bean and you gain a pound? You all there? Yeah. This drives people crazy. Today, new research says the answer could lie in your gut. Find out which gut type you are so you can start losing weight so it's fair for you and everybody else. Then, how do you talk to your loved one about needing to lose weight without hurting their feelings? The steps to tackle one of life's most difficult questions. And I've got hip-hop and fashion mogul Russell Simmons here. He's going to share with us the #1 secret he discovered to live 10 years longer. Let's get started with the fat factor you don't know about. Does it frustrate you that your BFF can eat junk food and not gain any weight at all, but you have 1 little jelly bean and you gain a pound? A lot of folks have that frustration. I see it in my own family. Well, scientists say the trillions of bacteria living in your gut have a surprising effect on your weight. So let's look at it this way. This is the inside of your intestines. See? Now look at the little green dots now. Let me put them in there. Green dots go there. Now, those are 100 trillion bacteria. They live inside your GI tract. They make up 90% of the cells in your body. There's literally more bacteria than your own cells. Now, in your gut, they're all struggling to be fed. And they even send messages to your brain yelling, feed me, feed me. So you do. Unfortunately, you often use the wrong kinds of foods like sugar and carbs and processed foods that feed bad bacteria. See how many different bacteria there are there now? They're not supposed to be there. And there's lots of them. And the more bad bacteria that grow, the more you gain weight. The good guy bacteria, the greens aren't that much present anymore. The bacteria in your gut ends up becoming the fat factor you don't know about. Is it possible? Is it real? Writer Beth Levine asked herself this very question and turned herself into a human guinea pig, hoping to end her long-term fight with that extra 10 pounds.
I've always been that person trying to lose 10, 20 pounds. I tried diets, I tried exercising, but ultimately it just doesn't stick. So when I got an assignment to write an article, try something new to get healthier and lose weight, I was totally game. So here's what the assignment was. Try to change my gut bacteria because recent medical research is showing that it's directly related to your health and to your weight. So I decided to run my own personal little experiment and see if I could actually change the bacteria in my gut. There's a company online that sells you kits that will test your bacteria in your gut. So I decided to use 2 kits. I'd use this one as a before I did my diet, and this one afterwards to see if I actually changed anything. Using the kits is very charming. You send in a stool sample. All right, it's not that disgusting, but you do it, and then they take it and analyze it for you. So the results came back on the first kit, and surprise, surprise, I'm a little high in the sugar-craving bacteria and kind of low in the fat-fighting bacteria. My next step was to start my gut-changing diet. Experts say that sugar and carbs fuel the fat-promoting bacteria, so I had to take them out of my diet. And then I had to eat things to promote the healthy bacteria, such as probiotics, prebiotics, and fermented foods. So after 2 weeks, I lost almost 10 pounds. Yay for me. But the real question remained, did I change my gut bacteria for the healthier? Time for that second kit. I took another sample, mailed it off, and waited for the response.
Beth Levine is here with all of her bacteria. So, after 2 weeks on the elimination diet, the big question we're all waiting to hear is what happened to your precious gut bacteria? Did they change? What are the final tests?
Well, the interesting thing is most experts that I had talked to said 2 weeks is not going to be enough. You need like 6 weeks to 6 months. And I have to say the unhealthy bacteria went down 50%.
You're kidding me.
The healthy ones went up 20%.
These are gargantuan changes.
Yeah,
These are
yeah.
trillions of bacteria differences just from feeding them the right stuff. So let's ask the audience. If you've been struggling with that 10 pounds extra that Beth's been talking about, would you consider changing the composition of your gut by changing how you eat? Would you do it? All right. So the question is, how do you feed it right? Joining me now is Josh Axe. He's a doctor of natural medicine. He's author of Eat Dirt. Josh, welcome back. So Dr. Axe wrote this concept about eating dirt in a tome, a book for us, but I'm fascinated. How does our gut contribute to our ability to deal with weight issues, in particular, folks who are stuck at a high weight?
Sure. Well, you know, Dr. Oz, I think a lot of people tend to think that probiotics and your digestive health just has to do with digestion, when in fact, it's absolutely linked to your metabolism and weight gain. In fact, certain probiotics and bad bacteria in your gut are responsible for hormone production. And this is why, Dr. Oz, I want to say this to a lot of our viewers, it's not your fault. A lot of people out there today can't lose the weight, especially that last 5 or 10 pounds. And part of it has to do with that bacteria. If your bacteria is off in your gut, those hormones aren't released in the right amounts. And if anyone's ever struggled with cravings, it's because your gut bacteria is off.
So Dr. Axe has 3 simple ways you can actually change the bacteria in your gut so you can lose weight. We're going to start off by eating dirty, which may not mean what you think it means. It's eat dirt vegetables.
It is. You know, a lot of times when people hear dirt and germs, they get afraid and they think, well, that can't be good for me. What we're finding now is that the diversity of microbes and probiotics in your gut is essential for our health and for weight loss. And so what I recommend my patients do, Dr. Oz, is go to their local farmer's market, go to a health food store, and buy dirty carrots. You can see out here on these carrots, they're not squeaky clean. In fact, there's a little bit of dirt on those. Those are called soil-based organisms or soil-based probiotics. I call them the king of probiotics, and they're some of the most powerful for increasing probiotic diversity, supporting weight loss, versus these carrots, squeaky clean, and this can actually decrease the probiotics in your gut versus getting soil-based organisms, untouched, untainted.
So for example, I mean, if I was at home, see how the tip of this carrot is sort of dark?
Yes.
I would cut that off. I rub this whole thing down. I shouldn't do that. I should just, like that.
Go right into it. There you go. You're losing weight right now. I can see it.
This is away. All right. Next, you have to eat prebiotic fiber foods.
Absolutely. You know, think about it like this. Prebiotics are the fertilizer for the probiotics in your gut. It's what they're going to feed off of as well. Asparagus, one of the most powerful. It also boosts a antioxidant in your body called glutathione. Artichokes, maybe the most powerful prebiotic out there. Onions and garlic are also very high. And then everybody's favorite, raw local honey. Hey, you can lose weight and satisfy your sweet tooth, and helping bolster your immune system.
It's so cool how the body's supposed to work. We just let
It is
it do what it's
amazing.
supposed to do. All right, and finally, we want to consume foods that are sour. These are things that most of you shy away from, except maybe the sauerkraut here. But explain why sour foods are so valuable.
Sure. Well, one of the things I've taught my patients, Dr. Oz, over the years is to embrace the power of sour. You know, we're so addicted to sweet and salty in our culture, and there are even studies showing that sour foods decrease the cravings you have. Some of my favorites here are coconut kefir, regular kefir. We have kombucha, another fantastic one, apple cider vinegar, sauerkraut and kimchi, fermented vegetables, and miso. These are all packed with probiotic-rich foods. So fermented dairy, fermented vegetables, some of the best here to get in your diet.
Apple cider vinegar must be the supplement of the year. I mean, I hear about it more and more. Come on down here. I want everyone to take 2 seconds now and pay attention. It's really important. Dr. Axe says, in your experience, everyone has one of 5 gut types. So we're going to give you these names real quick. You're going to describe them. I want folks to try to find themselves in all this.
Yeah.
And we're going to put a 30-second quiz, a very short quiz on droz.com so you can actually really identify yourself. But as a starter, walk us through it. Number 1, do you have a candida gut? What do those folks have?
Right, well, with candida gut, that's going to be anybody suffering with weight gain is a big one. Also, if you have a white coating on your tongue, any sort of yeast issues, that's a big sign you have candida gut.
Huh?
You look pretty good, a little bit there. We can.
As a perfectionist. I was just
you're
looking weight.
great. You're great.
I was
now.
losing weight seconds ago. All right.
You're looking great.
Toxic gut.
Toxic gut, anybody struggling with a digestive issue that's problems with digesting fat, gallbladder issues such as gallstones or gallbladder removal, liver issues, but anybody who's been exposed to toxins, that can actually kill probiotics in the gut affecting the body as well.
The immune gut.
Immune gut is anybody struggling with food sensitivities, autoimmune disease, even inflammatory bowel issues. And that's a big one today. And that's probably the most severe form of what I call leaky gut or gut types.
What about the stressed gut? What do they feel?
Stress gut is another one that is correlated with weight gain. That typically affects your hormones that have to do with metabolism and really affects the organs, your thyroid and your adrenal gland. So a lot of those people who can't lose that last 5 or 10 pounds, many of them have a stressed gut type and their hormones are imbalanced.
And finally, gastric gut, the stomach gut.
Gastric gut is really anybody who might have basic digestive issues or what they think are basic, acid reflux, gas, bloating, or even a condition called SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And a lot of that has to do with pH. So consuming fermented vegetables, as we talked earlier, is key for gastric gut. And that's one of the things I lay out in my book, Eat Dirt, is the specific 5 gut types.
All right, so we're going to put that 30-second quiz that everyone can take to find out your type of gut issues on DrOz.com. And be sure to check out Josh's new book. He just mentioned it. It's called Eat Dirt. You don't have to actually do it all the time, but it helps you out. We'll be right back. Let's give some dirt to the audience. Who wants dirt? Dirt! Next, is there someone you love that has put on a lot of weight? Learn the steps to navigate through this difficult conversation.
I love my husband with all my heart, and I just don't want to lose him.
How to tell a loved one they need to lose weight is next. I'm sounding the alarm on dangerous teen trends. Montel Williams sounds off.
They don't recognize that this thing that looks like Kool-Aid is killing their children.
All new Oz. That's coming up tomorrow. Honey, do I look fat? Now, we've all heard it before, and you may even have been the one to ask it. But what do you do when the answer is yes? How do you talk to your loved one about needing to lose weight without hurting their feelings? It's a difficult conversation that Dana needed to have with her husband. And not only is he a man who struggles with his weight, but he's also our core expert and renowned surgeon, Dr. Butch Rosser. Take a look.
My husband Butch is a pioneer in the world of laparoscopic surgery, and I've always admired that about him. But for his entire life, he's been a healer who could not heal himself. Butch has always struggled with his weight. He was 460 pounds when we met, and while that never bothered me, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. Butch's size interfered with everything. He couldn't fit into theater or airplane seats, and I began to resent him. I suffered in silence because confronting Butch with the truth would break his heart. The tipping point happened one night when I was awoken by a loud crash. I found Butch in the bathroom, sitting on a shattered toilet. I could feel his shame and embarrassment. It was then that I realized I first had to come to terms with my feelings before I could ever help Butch. After going back to counseling, I was finally in a place to tell Butch my truth. And together, we made the decision to get him gastric bypass surgery. Since then, we've been eating right, exercising, but most importantly, communicating with one another.
Please welcome Dr. Rosser and his wife, Dana. Butch, as doctors, we've got to give folks news they don't want to hear. It's hard, but it's our job. What's it like when you're on the other side of that conversation? Did it hurt your feelings?
Well, whether or not you're a physician or a patient with this kind of problem, it hurts. The anticipation of the conversation that you and your loved one, that you have to have, it's challenging, but it has to be done. And I realized the impact that this had on her. Then I gathered some inner strength and motivation to move to higher ground.
Yeah. Was it an emotional conversation?
It was an emotional conversation. It really was. But I think we both cried during the conversation. But I wanted him to know that I loved him. I wanted him to be here with me, Even if he didn't lose a pound, he had to know how it was affecting me. But it was the love that got it through us. Yeah, that got it.
So Donna wrote into our show concerned about her husband, Phil, who has gained 150 pounds since they got married almost 30 years ago. It's brave for them to be here. It's a hard conversation to have, but I'd like to invite him to join us. Coming up, Donna and Phil. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So, I wanted to get you guys together have the Rossers talk with both of you because they've got a plan to help navigate the challenges that you and so many others at home are facing right now. This is your partnership that has to extend at many different levels. So Dana says the first step is to write down your concerns and confront your partner lovingly. So Donna, we asked you to do this. And Phil, you probably aren't aware of this, but I'm gonna play something if you don't mind. This is a letter written from a woman who loves her man. It's the first step.
To the love of my life, throughout the years, your weight has never held you back from enjoying life. I remember when we first met, you used to ride me home on your handlebars. We fell in love, got married, and raised our children. We agreed that our children always came first, and when they were grown, that we would focus more on our lives together. Well, that time is now. I know that losing weight has always been a struggle for you, and it worries me. It seems like we don't do as many activities together, and I'm always leaving you behind. I can't stand to watch you in pain any longer because of your weight. I want to walk through the next chapter of our lives together. I want to grow old with you and for both of us to be able to play with our grandchildren in the future. I want to fully live life with you again. You are my life, and I don't know what life is without you. For once, you need to put yourself first and get healthy. You have given the children and me a beautiful life, and now we want to see you enjoy the best years ahead.
So what's it like to hear that, Phil?
It's tough. It's tough. It's been a struggle. But I know I have her in my corner. So that's the main thing.
Dada, how hard was it for you to write that?
It was hard to take it to this level, to actually write into a show and you know, expose ourselves and get it out there. I love my husband with all my heart, and I just don't want to lose him.
Phil, does it help that it comes from a place of love?
Yes, definitely. Because, I mean, we've been together forever. I'd rather hear it from her than my doctor or somebody else.
And this is something, Butch, I'm sure that touched your life the same way.
Well, it's just very hard, and Phil, it's hard. I understand because I was where you were. And the big thing I want you to know, as you have the conversation with her, the first thing you think is there's an attack upon you, right? And then what do we usually do? We start shutting down. Right. But son, I want you to put your big boy bloomers on and keep those ears open. All right?
We got a lot to talk about here. When we come back, the number one mistake most people make when trying to help their loved one lose weight. Stay here. Coming up, are you finding it hard to tell someone you love they're overweight? Well, stop stalling. How to tackle the sensitive conversation now.
I don't want to say nagging, but nagging out of love.
Well, let's nagging. The plan to get your loved one fit and healthy coming up next. Telling someone that you love that they need to lose weight is one of the most difficult conversations you can have. No one knows that better than Dr. Butch Rosser and his wife, Dana. They are back with a plan to get your loved one fit and healthy. Is there a right or wrong time, Dana, to have this conversation? And is there a right and wrong way to say it?
Say it, yeah. Don't wait. That would be my number one thing. You know, it's a life and death situation. You cannot wait. And when you're talking to your loved one, don't be condescending, don't be mean-spirited. Speak from your heart. Tell them how you truly feel, and it'll be okay. But you have to speak from your heart, because a lot of times we try to sugarcoat things, and it just doesn't work because you're still resenting some things inside. You have to be able to really, really dig deep and tell them exactly how you feel, but in love. You know, lead with love.
Now, why haven't you been able to have the conversation before? I mean, that letter that you wrote it's just poetry.
Oh, thank you.
Did that take a long time to write?
No, not really. because it's exactly how I felt. It's exactly, like he said, he used to ride me home on his handlebars. And we have such a beautiful life together.
So why haven't you been able to speak to him about this before?
We have, but not to this level. Like you said, it's why are you eating that? You need to lose weight. It was more of a, I don't want to say nagging, but nagging out of love.
Well, let's nagging. Phil says nagging.
Come on.
Nagging out of love.
Always out of love, but every dinner or anything, like the other day, she gave me a plate. I ate it. I wanted to sop up the gravy, so I took a little piece of bread. And if her eyes were like daggers, I'd be stabbed 1,000,000 times. So I just had to say, what? I'm bulking up for the show. I got my bread, people. I got the bread. Way to go, Phil. Hey, I had to think of something,
But
Doc.
this is an important point. You said we got to let go of being the food police.
You cannot, sweetie. You cannot be the food police.
I am the food
I know.
police.
Because ultimately, it's going to be his choice.
Right.
He has to choose what goes in his body, okay? But what you can control is what comes into the house. If you do the grocery shopping, maybe have some more healthier choices. And take care of yourself. That's important. I talk about this in my book, that you really have to take care of you in order for you to take care of him. If you're just constantly worried about him, you're not taking care of you.
And you say to come together with obesity as the enemy.
Yes, obesity is the enemy. Try to, have your loved one and obesity separate. We would get together as a family to fight this war. We would exercise. We would all try to eat right, not just Butch.
And she
the
did
whole
sneaky
family.
stuff too. Like I thought I was using a salt shaker, but there was some herbs and all like that. I wasn't even eating salt, and then all of a sudden I stopped using the salt shaker because it wasn't doing any good. Phil, it was those are the kind of things that she did clandestinely to help me, man.
And like if I made spaghetti or something, I would use turkey. And maybe just a teeny bit of ground beef, and he never knew. Or whole wheat pasta. And he was like, oh, this is good. I'm like, I know.
I do the artichoke pasta.
I get the fake pasta all the time. It's like, okay, what pasta we eating today?
Artichoke
Phil,
pasta.
the big question is, do you think doing this with your wife, with obesity as the enemy, will make a difference to you?
Oh, 100%.
Are you prepared to make the changes, Donna? Because you're going to be part of this.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we have this very successful, very popular program called the Day Off Diet. I love you guys. I love the way interaction. I love the idea you're bringing your beautiful wife, protecting her by putting on your handlebars and getting her home. I mean, that image has got to be in the back of our minds for the rest of our interaction. For as long as I know you guys, I'll be thinking about that. If you'll do this Day Off Diet, we'll do it with you.
Oh, that's
I'm game. I'm game.
All right. We'll meet up on that. Dana, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks
for
so
taking
much.
care of my very good friend.
No, that's my boo.
That's your boo.
I got him, yeah.
Dana,
My brother from another one. That's it.
Dana Rogers' book's called Through Thick and Thin, which is a very clever title. Facing obesity through the eyes of a loved one. It's available right now. Take it out. It's really well done. Be right back. Next, hip-hop mogul Russell Simmons. How he overcame his addictions and what he did to transform his life.
Well, I learned a long time ago that I like morning meditation more than late night drinking.
His #1 secret to living 10 years longer. Coming up. I'm sounding the alarm on dangerous teen trends. Montel Williams sounds off.
They don't recognize that this thing that looks like Kool-Aid is killing their children.
All new Oz. That's coming up tomorrow. Here's the original and eternal hip-hop mogul, Russell Simmons. And today he's here to reveal his #1 secret to living 10 years longer. But behind the music, the fashion, and the multi-million-dollar businesses is a story of a driven man who was living a life filled with drugs and self-destruction. Russell Simmons, a pioneer in the music industry, co-founded legendary Def Jam Records, which helped launch the careers of hip-hop stars Run DMC and the Beastie Boys, while also making his mark in the fashion world as the creator of Fat Farm. Russell's entrepreneurial spirit developed first on the streets of Hollis, Queens, where, as a young man, he got his start, selling marijuana and synthetic cocaine. Russell eventually cleaned up his act and used his street smarts to turn his love for music and eye for talent into a multi-million-dollar music empire. Yet even as Simmons' career skyrocketed, he struggled with drug abuse. But 28 years ago, Russell gave up drugs for good, eventually sold his music and fashion labels, and turned to spirituality. Simmons now considers himself a modern-day monk, practicing yoga and keeping a completely vegan diet, which inspired him to write his book, The Happy Vegan, a guide to living a long, healthy, and successful life. Today, Russell is here to share his #1 secret to help you live 10 years longer. Please welcome my friend, Russell Simmons.
How are you, sir?
28 years sober. I'm so proud of you. What's it been like, 28 years of being clean?
Well, I learned a long time ago that I like morning meditation more than late night drinking. So when you learn that and you have some faith in it, you start doing things that matter.
Beautiful. I want to show you a picture. It startled me when I saw it. This is a picture of Russell taken about 30 years ago. Your transformation was about as complete as anyone I've ever met. It included food, but you became a vegan, which is something you...
I became a vegan for compassionate reasons. And then writing this book, if I want to move people, I have to tell them what is happening to them. And I don't know what I can say on TV, but it's for sure the factory farming industry's lobby is more poisonous than all of the things we talk about on TV. We always talk about ISIS and this and that. Nothing is killing more Americans than the food that they're eating. And I want to change that.
How do you get people in your own life to change? Like Rev Ron, who's been on the show, you're the iconic founder of Run DMC, you all know him. He loves to cook dishes. I see him bragging about this. That's right, but deep fried turkey, he's got sausage, lasagnas, a little spice on the extra. He's got, seafood gumbo that I think really...
Your best friends listen to you. I mean, Oprah's my friend. I got her to meditate. It was easy because she's not my best friend. Ellen DeGeneres, I got her to meditate. You think that Rev meditates? Rev, though, called me. He used to tell me green juice tastes like, he said, like you're running and you fell in the grass, you scraped your mouth on the grass, that's your green juice. What are you talking about? They put some pineapple in your green juice and it's natural sugar, it won't be so bad. Now he's called me, this is recently, and told me that he loves green juice. He drinks 4 of them a day and he's changing his diet.
Well, Rev didn't trust that you'd be so kind to him, so he actually wanted a little rebuttal time.
No, but his wife read this book already and is implementing, because she's the boss, not him.
Yes.
And she's implementing a different diet in the household.
Here's a little video he wanted me to show you. Take a look.
Big bro Russell Simmons, my brother, his book, Life Changing. I'm gonna tell you like this. Go buy this book. Why? Because Russell Simmons said so. He's a happy vegan. Smiley.
Well, he does love you.
I love him. He has a basketball court in his house, so that's good.
Yes, it's good.
Right? I mean, at my age, I don't play basketball. I play yoga. I mean, I can't play basketball.
So how's your body changed? Your body specifically, just being vegan?
Well, it's been almost 20 years. The first thing I noticed is that over a period of a couple of months, I lost 20 pounds. I have never gained it back. I eat whatever I want, as long as it's not animal product.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of junk vegan food. I have in the past because it was compassion was my reason. Oreo cookies are vegan. I mean, a lot of stuff is vegan. Right? Coca-Cola is vegan. I mean, so I didn't, at first care, but then as, you're a vegan, you're surrounded, and as a yogi, you're surrounded by all these yogis who know that you take care of the first chakra first, and you can never be a great servant unless you take care of this Muladhara chakra, this self. So if you take care of yourself, you can serve the world. You can't serve God if you can't take care of yourself. Yeah. So that's first, and so
Speaking about compassion, because you brought that word up a lot, I didn't realize this, but you actually go to Kimora Lee's house, your ex-wife's house, to meditate every morning. Is that true?
Well, I did. I moved to LA so that I can live around the corner for my kids and hang out with Kimora. She's my best friend.
Even though she's your ex-wife?
Yeah. If you love somebody, can you not like them later? People always question that. Yeah. She's my best friend.
Good for you. Come on over. I want you to show everybody 1 or 2 little yoga moves. You up for it?
Yoga moves?
Yoga was simple stuff that everyone can do at home. I don't want people intimidated, and what makes you so powerful is you don't intimidate people.
I try not to.
All right, I'm taking my jacket off.
Why are you taking your jacket off?
Because we're going to do something that's at the end a little harder. I got one last surprise for you.
What do you want me to do first? Okay, you know what? I'm going to show you something really simple, but you need a brick probably. I don't know, maybe you don't need a brick. I'll take my shoes off too. Hey, look. This is a warrior, a hero's pose. Why do we do this? Can you put your butt on the ground?
Oh, jeez.
You need a brick. Yeah, you need a brick.
No, this is from playing too much football when I was young. There.
Right. So the reason you do this, and the way a lot of the poses work, twisting other poses, is that the circulation in your knee now stops, right?
Yeah.
And when you jump up, what happens? If you sit like this for 5 minutes, and then you stand up, the blood races through. And so that it's really good for your knees. Now, that pose is for your circulation, and what else you want?
I'm gonna do this pose with you. We're gonna do a little challenge. We're gonna do headstands together.
Headstand? You wanna do a headstand?
Why not? You got a hat on. I got hair. All right, headstands it is.
Now, do you know why you do a headstand?
No, why do you do a headstand?
You do a headstand because you're always standing up this way, right? In 2 minutes, 90% of your blood rushes this way. You're a doctor, you know what happens if 90% of your blood rushes this way. It cleanses your thyroid and all kinds of stuff. It really is, your heart pumps it. It's good for your heart because you're pumping it. And believe it or not, you lose a lot of weight because you're upside down. Your heart's doing all this work. So it's kind of, it's a great cleansing process.
So if you can't do the headstand, just lie in your couch, let your head go off the edge, and get in that direction.
Okay, you go. You lay on your back, put your feet up on the wall.
God, I hope I don't fall.
Headstand. I'm going to do what Oz says. Don't do that.
Why not?
Dangerous. What are you doing?
I'm doing a headstand.
No.
What are you doing? Aren't you doing it?
You don't jump. You don't jump, Oz.
Well, I don't have the core strength you have. Oh, my goodness. Whoa. All right, everybody at home, lie upside down on the couch. When we come back, Russell's going to show you how you can be vegan and still enjoy barbecue. All through the break. Next, Russell shares some outrageous veggie recipes that will even wow the biggest meat lovers.
Very tasty.
A lot of protein.
Surprising ingredients that turn his favorite meat dishes into healthier vegetarian options. We try them out. That's next. Oh my, we're still at it, Russell, the whole break. You know what? Can we just call it a tie?
I'm sorry?
Can we call it a tie? Don't pretend you can't hear me.
What do you mean by tie?
Russell, is it a tie? This is competitive yoga. I don't want to lose.
You don't compete in yoga.
All right, you win, Russell. You win. I'm coming
win?
down. Yes, you are.
Okay.
It's too much. It's too much. All right, so here's the deal. Russell's got all kinds of insights, but today we're going to share some outrageous veggie recipes that even wows die-hard meat lovers. And to prove it, I got Heather here. Get your shoes on and join me. And her family loves meatloaf like so many of you. So what is it about meatloaf, Heather, that your family adores?
Well, in a single word, meat.
You like the meat?
So I've been making meatloaf for many, many years now. It is an absolute staple for my family.
Can I try this on, Russell?
There you go. We've been making it for many moons, and I would say probably my secret trick to a great meatloaf is using 3 different types of mixed meat. So it's veal, beef, and pork. And of course, the real secret ingredient is love. That's what we cook with.
Well, Russell's got lots of love.
Absolutely. I look forward.
So, Russell, you got
I doubt the animal would agree with that.
I look forward to trying it.
You got a secret ingredient. Go ahead and give it a try, Heather.
Excellent. Okay.
And as you try it, I want Russell to reveal it to everybody else because I don't think you're going to guess what's in there.
Okay.
It gives it that meaty texture.
Oop.
Russell, what is it?
Lentil.
It's lentils. Now,
that is very good.
I know.
Very tasty.
A lot of protein.
Thank you so much.
make it for your family.
Absolutely.
Come on over here. Let's meet Simone. Now, Simone loves what I love, which is barbecue.
Yes, I love.
How difficult would it be to give up barbecue ribs?
It would be very difficult. I love my ribs. I love my meat. I'm sorry.
Give these barbecue ribs a try. These are vegan versions of what you might make. And while you taste that,
you know what? Can I just?
Yeah, that's how you eat them. It's barbecue. Your fingers.
I can't eat ribs with a fork.
Of course not. No one can. It's impossible. Can't be done. You're probably wondering, how did Russell do that?
How'd you do this?
Russell, the secret ingredient is
Wheat gluten.
Yep, seitan. Seitan, wheat gluten.
Wow.
Would you serve this to your family? Would you consider this instead of the regular barbecue?
I would. I actually would. I would actually fool them and say, guys, come over. We're going to do this good ribs. And then close your eyes and blindfold them and then give it to them.
God bless you.
That's what I'm going to do.
You can get Russell Simmons' favorite vegan recipe at theDrOz.com now. Russell wrote a fantastic book. We talked about it earlier. It's called The Happy Vegan. It's in stores right now. And guess what, my audience? He loves us all, especially you all. So you're all going home with a copy today. Thanks for being here, my friend. Right back.
Next, it only takes a few seconds for a small flame to turn into a full-blown fire. So would you know what to do if one broke out in your kitchen? Investigative correspondent Jeff Rosson shows what you need to do to protect your family at home. Next.
I'm sounding the alarm on dangerous teen trends.
Montel Williams sounds off.
They don't recognize that this thing that looks like Kool-Aid is killing their children.
All new Oz. That's coming up tomorrow.
So experts say it takes only a few seconds for a small fire to turn into a complete devastation. But would you know what to do if a fire broke out right here in your kitchen? The Today Show national investigative correspondent Jeff Rosson was curious and found out how you could save your family's life from a fire. Take a look at his report.
It starts small. Fire sparks on top of your stove. But within minutes, the flames engulf the entire kitchen, your home becoming a deadly trap. Would you know how to stop this before it's too late?
This is one of the most common causes of kitchen fires, leaving an oven mitt on the stove.
Dave Hamilton is a fire captain in Nutley, New Jersey. Today, showing us how to protect ourselves at home.
All right, let's go.
Inside the Morris County Fire Training Academy.
Right now, everybody needs to have a fire extinguisher in their home and know where it is.
It's that second part that I think is going to be the problem for a lot of people. I think I have one in my kitchen. I don't know exactly where it is, so that's the message. Go home tonight like me and figure out where it is.
After finding it, you have to know how to use it. In order to use it, it's a very simple acronym, PASS. PASS is pull the pin, aim, squeeze the handle, and sweep side to side.
Okay, let me try this actually. Okay, so pull the pin, aim, squeeze the trigger, and go side to side.
Exactly.
And the fire is out, that easy.
That easy.
Even more dangerous and deadly, grease fires. They burn hotter, spread faster.
If I didn't have a fire extinguisher, my first reaction would be to throw water on this.
No, water would be the worst thing to put on a grease fire. It would actually spread it. Let me show you an example. Here's a cup of water.
Whoa. Watch that again. Even that small amount of water sends the flames flying.
What are you supposed to do?
Common household material, baking soda.
All right, so we have some baking soda. Regular baking soda.
Regular baking soda, take the box, pour it right over the top of the whole
fire.
fire.
Right on top like this?
Keep going, the whole box.
Oh,
There you
wow,
go.
it put it right out. And this is in all of our kitchens right now.
Exactly.
Simple tips to make sure you don't make a mistake when trying to save your home and your family from danger.
Jeff Rosson, you're very calm under pressure, Professor.
Yeah,
That was nice.
I know. I'm scared of fire. And believe it or not, I was scared of fire extinguishers too. It's actually very, very simple. I thought there'd be some kind of kickback when you fire it, but it's actually very, very easy if you have to use it.
So it was pass. So we have one here.
Yes.
So pull it off from a place you know it.
Yep.
Again, pull the
Pull
red.
the pen.
And then?
Aim.
Yep.
Squeeze. What was the fourth one?
And spread it side
Spread.
to side.
See?
Oh, I
Spread side to
love
side.
this. I went to medical school to learn this stuff.
You caught me. Yeah, it's actually very, very easy. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? Point it at the fire, and when you hit that trigger, it comes right out very easily.
So before we get to this, keep holding that for a second, because I want to talk about where we put this in our house.
Yes.
Let's talk about the other issue that we didn't cover, which is the fact that in the wintertime, a lot of folks leave their oven doors open. And this is actually a big cause of fires. I never thought about this. Why is this such a...
It's very dangerous, first of all, for children, of course, right? Because kids, I mean, I have little kids, they walk over, they stick their hands in and kids can get burned. The other thing is when you have a stove like this that sort of isn't in the cabinetry, it can actually topple over. These are very, very top heavy. A child could pull this right down, and a lot of fires start that way.
So there's the reasons you might get fires. Most of the fires I would always be fearful of would have some grease element to them. So I get concerned about it. We keep fire extinguishers all over the house.
That's great.
Walk us through where they should be in everyone's house. And then there's a part of this puzzle that I want people to remember from today's show, which is whether they're actually still worthy of being used or not.
Exactly. Just because you have a house that's 30 years old and you have a fire extinguisher, that's not good enough. They last for about 15 years, up to 15 years. Here's a good way to do it, and you should all go out and do this today or tonight when you get home. You want to check, there's a gauge on most fire extinguishers. Make sure it is in the green. Even if it's not completely full, as long as you can see the gauge right there, as long as it's in the green, you're fine. If it's in the red, go to the store and buy a new one. You should have a fire extinguisher on every floor of your house, but especially near the kitchen and the garage. That is where most fires start.
In the garage?
Yeah, in the garage. There are a lot of garage fires because that's where you keep all your junk, all your stuff that can be flammable, and a little spark can set it right off.
I'm going to do it today. It's very good advice. I appreciate it.
Great.
And I do commend you for your calmness under pressure.
I forgot a little bit about what passes, but now we know. I learned from you.
It's the best way to remember. Right. I think about passing gas, passing a fire extinguisher. It actually works.
Is that what that is?
Check the date and the pressure on your fire extinguishers today. Do it right now. We'll be right back.
Are there dangerous chemicals in your clothes? See what we uncovered lurking in your favorite fashions. Plus, the movie that will change your mind about bipolar disorder. Spike Lee opens up All New Oz.
That's coming up on Wednesday. Breaking news on the female libido drug, sometimes known as female Viagra. I know there's been a lot of hype out there about this little pink pill that's supposed to increase libido in women. But now there's an update. A new study just released about the effects of ADI. That's the name that the makers gave it. But before I reveal those results, I want to know from the audience what you guys actually want a pill to do if it's designed for female libido. So who wants to comment on this? What's the goal? Well, how many more episodes a month of happiness and joy, orgasmic joy would you want? Thoughts? Nice glasses, by the way. How shy they are. Anybody have any thoughts, any goals? Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm abstinent, so I would welcome this because I'm 40 and I don't do it. So when I'm able to do it, give me the medicine.
Anything you'll do it.
Yes.
And more of it.
Yes.
Other thoughts, other photos? I'll probably go with that. So here's what the new study showed. The average benefit a woman gets when she takes a new female libido drug, are you ready for this? Is half of one satisfying sexual encounter a month. What do you guys think about that? Is half of an extra satisfying sexual experience a month enough? No. Who said no? Yes, ma'am, go ahead. What do you think? Is that enough? Is one half of one sexual experience?
Of course, one half is never enough.
No.
Why would?
What is it? What's a half? Right.
What does that mean, half?
Yeah, what does that mean? Do you know?
I don't know.
You stop midway through? What is that? You're just getting there and you cut it off?
I just think it's a setup for trouble.
Set up for trouble? All right. Anyone else want to comment? Yeah, please pass that down here. I can see you start in the mouth stuff to yourself.
Perhaps you can provide samples and we can come back at a later time and,
yes.
and let you know.
All right, there are some doctors who say the drug actually helped their patients. Listen, if you're going from 0 to a half, then the female Viagra might be worth it. And I think that's where we're sitting now. How much is enough? But keep it in mind. Thanks for joining us. Remember, happy and healthy, it starts at home.